Alex, we saw you get out of the car breathing heavily. Experience of endurance racing.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's terrific. It's a fantastic challenge. It's a real adventure. So for sure, if ever I will have the possibility, of course into a BMW car, but I would love to repeat this experience because I'm young after all, you know, I still have a long career in front of me.
And what was it like? Obviously you had to do it under special circumstances. The way you have to drive the car is very tiring for you. Just explain how that works.
Yeah, it is very tiring because I'm only using my hip to put the pressure it takes to slow the car down, and we're talking about 100 kilos of pressure every heavy braking point. So if you think of doing this for 24 hours, or at least for several portions of the 24-hour, you can really understand how hard it is. On top, you know, every human being uses blood circulation to cool the body down. And the extremities are really the cooler of our body. So for me, not having my legs and having my arms strapped into the racing suit and to the gloves, it's like being an engine without a cooler. So I sweat a lot. I mean, it's amazing, but if you touch my overall underneath here in my feet, it's wet. So I don't know how the sweat got there, but somehow it did. And into the last stint, it was even harder because not only we had a problem which blocked airflow, so cooling in the car was seriously compromised, but also the drinking bottle was not longer working. So, but Jens Marquardt said that's why I get the big bucks.
We're just going to play some of the onboard. I think you can see one of the cameras behind us here. This is you driving around. So just talk us through some of the racing you did out on track and how you found the racing going around Spa.
We have a very good car. I mean, the BMW machine, it's a very agile machine. For sure, speed down the straight is not our best quality, but we can go through corners really fast, probably faster than others, especially after 5 or 6 laps into the tires. And this is our advantage. So having a great accessing speed out of a corner, if you have a long straight in front of you, it's not a big advantage, but if you have another corner turning in the opposite direction, it is indeed an advantage, and this is Spa. This is what it is here in Spa, so overtaking for us was probably easier than it was for others, thanks to the great qualities of the BMW Z4, but still, you had to judge things right, otherwise you would end up in the gravel, you know, and I managed to stay out of trouble. I had some close calls, but still I passed a lot of cars out there, and I really enjoyed myself.
Well, you said the word enjoy yourself. You've got a smile on your face right now, even though it was tough, even though you sweated loads. Would you do this again? Would you do another 24-hour race?
Of course I would. I mean, when I finished the Ironman, they asked me and I said no way, but then 5 minutes later I said yeah, I'd love to do it again. Here, as soon as I jumped out of the car, I said I want to do it again. But hopefully with the same team, because I want to thank Team Roal for the terrific job. All the boys, they look very, very tired. I know that down the pit lane everybody has the same problems, but I have to, you know, take my hat off for my boys who did a terrific job. For all the BMW people, starting from Jens Marquardt, but all the engineers, all the people who dedicate their passion in building me a car which would suit my need. And finally, last but not least, let me thank you, my teammate, because we're just talking about Alex Zanardi, about how hard it is for me to drive, but I mean, these guys, they took basically every time double stints to help me out, so I mean, they did a heroic job. And not only that, very often we were the fastest car out there, so the skill of Bruno Spengler and Timo Glock comes second just to their heart, because they are terrific guys.
Next year the win then?
Next year it would be hard, Spa, because next year is my Olympic year, and unless you told to our boss and we change the date, it would be hard this time to combine something so important for me. So for sure, if they ask me to, I will be back in 2017, but let's enjoy this moment now, because the race is not over, and although we had some big problems which stopped us from finishing in the top 5, which I thought was realistically an easy goal for us to achieve. We can still bring home something interesting here, so let's stay focused on it.
Alex, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
There isn't really a word to describe Alex Zanardi, is there? Because he's an amazing person.
I think there is. I think it's special. I think there is just the most remarkable man, certainly in motorsport, but in other sports, I mean, in his Olympic Games and everything that he's done, he literally, his life was transformed in the most horrible accident I think anybody had ever seen, and he survived it. And he's made a wonderful life and career as a consequence of enormous adversity. And there he is. I mean, we saw him get out of the car. He was on his physical limit. He's explained why, because the drinks bottle didn't work, the ventilation system hadn't, something got into it, it wasn't ventilating properly. On top of which, it's the end of a 24-hour race. It's a very stressful event. It's hard for him physically. He has to rotate his hip to get his right leg to put pressure, which is something no other driver's got to do. And then he's got other functions, mental functions to consider. I mean, a truly remarkable human being.
And from one interview, he's straight into the next, isn't he? Because there is another camera crew here making a documentary about him. So an interview to be done straight after one for us to them as well. Let's just remind ourselves of what's been going on in the Spa 24 hours. That rain of yesterday now seems quite a long time.